Well, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Irresistible author of Finding True Love Through Online Dating, a Christian Woman's Guide. From the name itself, it truly is a guide because it is packed full of info and practical advice on what to do, what not to do, what to write, what not to write on your online dating profile. So if you really wanted a Christian resource, if you've been praying for a partner in life and it's been years, maybe a decade or maybe decades, and nothing is happening in person, I would really encourage you to try online dating because it is just one awesome opportunity or channel that I believe God created for us, even Christians, to find true love because I found my own true love online. And tonight I wanted to continue our discussion about what you can write on your online dating profile or how to craft an irresistible online dating profile. I mentioned in my last video that before you even try to craft your online dating profile, which is my chapter 10 on the book, it's best to do some soul searching or some digging, inside you and ask God, and why would I advise you to ask God, when you receive a new technology, for example, and you don't know how to use it, what's the advice? Always go to the manufacturer, or in other case, go to the manual. Now, who is our manufacturer? As created beings, our manufacturer basically is God the Father. And what is our manual? The Holy Bible. So if you're a Christian, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a Christian, I'm more than willing to sit down with you virtually, and explain to you what I'm talking about in a separate session. So just send me a message, DM me or contact me on my website, www.marisolcolquitt.com. Why do I say that you should ask God first? Because God knows us best. God knows us better. And honestly, in my book, I share a lot of examples in my own life, a lot of instances in my life where I realized that God really knows me better than I would ever know myself, and God knows best. And God knows what's best for you. You might think that you need somebody who's a preacher, but actually you need somebody who's a worship leader. Or maybe you need somebody who actually is behind the scenes. A lot of women try to fantasize about people at the front or at the pulpit. But then in reality, we probably will not even work best with those kinds of ministers. Or maybe you see yourself as a missionary out in the jungle in Africa. But in reality, you're actually somebody who would be better suited for somebody who's a missionary in the urban jungle or in the city. So a lot of when I was a kid, I used to fantasize of becoming a missionary in Africa. But then as I grew older, I realized, my idiosyncrasies. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm not, I don't think I'm suited for this. So the older you get, the more you realize I probably will not, be suited for that kind of vocation. So again, why do I say that you have to do all this before you even try to craft your online dating profile? Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what's best for you, if you don't know what you need, and you separate what you need from what you want, because what you want may not necessarily what you need. Again, just like what I said, sometimes we want a preacher, but actually maybe we need somebody who's a prayer warrior or an intercessor, who are usually behind the scenes. And then you'll be pursuing preachers or worship leaders or somebody who's in the band. But actually, what God was going to tell us is that, hey, actually, you're best suited for being with somebody who's on his or her knees, most of the time. So and that would also keep you from getting hurt, because if a lot of women, I've met women who are so beautiful, but they just keep going out with the wrong guys. And I often wondered why, or how such a beautiful woman can seemingly go out with just anybody. A man could be 20 years older, or not even good looking, or with nothing, but they have a good career, they're beautiful, but they'll just go out with almost anybody and everybody, because I realized they didn't know who they are, and they didn't know what they want, they didn't know what is best for them. So find out what your deal breakers are. Do you want somebody who's never been married, or somebody you're okay with somebody who's divorced or separated? Technically it's not really allowed. Or somebody with kids or no kids. So what if they have kids but they've never been married before? Or a widower. So you really have to determine and decide what's your deal breaker. Oh, I don't want this. Because if you know what your deal breakers are, when you see a guy's profile or a woman's profile, oh, okay, he or she already has a kid, okay, then you just move on to the next. But if you don't know your deal breakers, you just keep talking to everybody and anybody, and you're just gonna be wasting your time. Okay, are you strict about their doctrines? Do you want somebody who's Pentecostal, or it doesn't matter? Are you okay with somebody who's Baptist or evangelical, or it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter as long as they're Christians, as long as they're godly. Why do I mention that? Because sometimes you really have to make sure that you actually are going to work together if you have different doctrines. Okay, because sometimes it can lead to a big discussion. Not that I've experienced it, but I've seen it in other people. Okay, are you okay with somebody who has a job, or who has no job but is in between jobs? Or are you okay, or are you fixated on, okay, he has to be financially stable? I also addressed that in the book. This, just because somebody is rich doesn't mean that you're gonna be happy. Most of the time, a man can be down on his luck, at the moment, but he's actually on his way to riches. Our friend used to ask me at the cell, are you okay with somebody who on his way to riches, or he has to be rich already? It's like, no, I'm totally okay with on his way to riches, because I dream of building my future, and that's exactly what I got. Are you okay with the geographical boundaries? My husband was strict about dating only somebody in Texas or Louisiana or Arkansas or Oklahoma, but he ended up with somebody in Florida. So you have to decide to yourself, what are your boundaries, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual or mental or even financial. And then of course, when you have that, then you decide your striking summary, because you want to your summary has to basically reflect who you are in just a few words. So for me, at first I was trying to hide the fact that I really wanted somebody who values purity and celibacy, and I decided 2 years later on that, this is the way to find the right guy, and that's what I did. A godly woman who values purity, looking for a godly man who values purity and or celibacy. And then make sure that you talk about your likes and dislikes, and what are your dreams and your visions, and check out the kind of man that you're interested in, and check out what they have on their profile, and that will give you an idea on what to put in your own profile, so you can make sure that you attract the right kind of man. And make sure that you also post great photos, wholesome photos, not in bikinis, okay? And again, if you have any more questions, just check out my book, Finding True Love Through Online Dating, available now on Amazon. And if you are being blessed by these videos, please hit like and subscribe. God bless.